What's up everyone, TheGame2k2 here again for another movie review, and today I'm continuing my review of the Halloween franchise with Rob Zombie's 2007 reimagining of Halloween. After a long 5 years since Halloween Resurrection, it seemed like only a matter of time before a remake or reimagining of the original would be releasing because, for some strange reason, about 90% of the horror genre has been remakes over the past 4 years. For the most part, the story is the exact same as the original, except for the beginning. The story talks about the origins of Michael Myers. It tells about his childhood and how he became the psychotic killer. He lives in a very dysfunctional family where his father and sister do nothing but make fun of him. His mother seems to be the only one to care about him. He is constantly bullied in school. Then one day, he decides that he's not going to take it anymore. So on Halloween night, he kills the bully, his sister, and his father, and also his sister's boyfriend. He is then sent to an institution where he spends 15 years there. He escapes and heads back to Haddonfield and goes on another killing spree and finds his little sister Lori. To be quite honest, when the movie was first announced, I actually didn't mind Rob Zombie's concept. There was a lot of questions on whether or not this would be a remake or a prequel. Zombie actually decided to do both in one film, and I thought that was actually pretty smart. However, my biggest concern was that it was Rob Zombie making this film. No disrespect to Zombie, but he has a style that is the complete polar opposite of what the original Halloween was. The original Halloween wasn't a very bloody film, and up until this point, that is all Zombie is known for as a director, and that's being a very gory type of movie maker. Also, while I like the concept, the story in the film is still a bit odd. One of the things that really bugs me about a lot of these prequels and remakes is that not only are they telling more about the killer, but they are designing the story to where they actually want you to feel sympathy for the killer. I never liked that idea. To me, you have to feel sympathy for the people he's killing or trying to kill. You can't feel sorry for the killer. That kind of goes against the whole horror concept. However, once it gets past all the prequel elements, it actually is very loyal to the original film. He does make a few changes to help modernize the story, which is something that he obviously had to do. I like the changes he made to some of the characters, particularly Lori. In the original film, she was a very quiet, very repressed, and very responsible teenager. Only the responsible element is kept. He made the character much more vocal, but kept it to where you could tell that she was a responsible person and knew the difference between right and wrong. The Annie character also got a slight change. I didn't like the Annie character in the original film. The character had an attitude problem, which made me care less that she was killed. In this film, they show off the friendship with Lori a little better, and they make her much kinder. The one character that actually got worse was Linda. Her character is actually kind of annoying, and in a way, really forgettable. The character in the original Halloween was very memorable, while this character in the 2007 film is very passable in this movie. Dr. Loomis got a little bit of an overhaul too. Zombie tries to modernize the character with the rest of the film, and the final results are pretty good. If there is any flaw that this reimagining is crippled by, it is the violence and the gore. Like I said before, Zombie is a very gory and violent director, and the original Halloween was not a gory and violent film. It had a little bit of violence, but it wasn't anything like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't mind violence or blood in a movie, but there are moments when movies go too far. Zombie has people getting beaten by baseball bats, the stabbings are bloody and sometimes shot in close-up, and the whole third act of the movie is just insanity and never seems to end. However, despite these flaws, this reimagining has a fairly stellar cast. Tyler Mane I actually enjoyed as Michael Myers in this reimagining. Not only is he a big guy, but he's not as robotic as some of the previous Michael Myers that have come in the past sequels. One of the big issues that the previous sequels had was that Michael Myers kind of walked like Frankenstein, which didn't look right. Malcolm McDowell, while not quite as charismatic as Donald Pleasance, still gives a very good performance as Dr. Loomis. In fact, one of my favorite scenes with him and Tyler Mane was at the institution, their final scene in the institution where they're sitting across each other at the table. That's one of my favorite scenes. Was I the only one stunned to see Brad Dourif in this movie? Chucky is actually in a Halloween movie. But in all seriousness, Dourif is a tremendous actor, and his role as Sheriff Brackett is no different. Then we have the younger actors, which is where the acting gets a little uneven. Scout Taylor Compton is pretty good overall, but is also very over the top on a couple occasions as Laurie. Christina Klebb as Linda is very much like her character, very forgettable. She tries too hard to play the teenager role and ends up being the cliche teenager that is seen in a lot of films. I was very surprised to see Danielle Harris in this film. I didn't think it was possible for her to play any other character besides Jamie from Halloween 4 and 5. Like Compton, it's a good performance overall, but can get a little over the top too. Overall, Rob Zombie's Halloween isn't the worst remake or reimagining I've ever seen in my life, but it still suffers from the usual problems that these movies keep having. However, it's still definitely worth watching because if you can get past the flaws, it's actually a pretty good film. Well, everyone, that's it for now. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time.